It is still dark when you open your eyes, the kind of blackness that feels thick enough to touch. The stars outside your reed and adobe walls are still twinkling, and somewhere beyond the hills, a jaguar coughs into the dawn. The village hasn't stirred yet. But you, a humble Zapotec candle maker, must begin. You sit up slowly. The air is cool and heavy with the scent of last night's fire, of embers still smoldering beneath ash, and of beeswax that melted too long and dripped onto the stones. Your mat creaks beneath you woven reeds, well worn from years of use. One corner still holds the shape of your grandmother's knees, from the last time she knelt to bless the house. Before you reach for your tools, you sit quietly. The stillness is part of the craft. You've learned this from your mother, and her mother, and her mother's mother before her. You let your mind unfurl like warm wax, softening in the quiet. From a small alcove beside the door, you pull out the ember pot. A shallow dish, carefully lined with black clay and filled with a curl of coals kept warm under ash. You blow gently. Once, twice. The faintest glow emerges, like a firefly waking up. You feed it a sliver of dry bark, and it cracks softly, grateful to be of use again. In the near dark, you pad across the earthen floor to a shallow basin carved into a slab of volcanic rock. You splash your face with water left overnight, cooled by dreams. The water smells faintly of ash and maize. You press your palms together, fingers still wet, and murmur a few words to Kasujo, god of rain and fire. His symbols decorate your little altar, a zigzag for lightning, a spiral for thunder, and a small figure carved from candle wax, softened and reshaped many times. You light your first candle of the day. It is a short one, thumb-sized and slightly lopsided. You made it 2 weeks ago with leftover wax and a cotton wick twisted too quickly, but you've come to like its imperfection. The flame blooms gently, casting shadows against the adobe wall, and your tiny home comes into focus. The walls are rough, plastered with a pale mixture of lime and clay. A few baskets hang from the beams overhead filled with dried herbs, corn husks, and old candle stubs you've yet to remelt. There's a neat row of molds carved from wood and fired clay. Each one tells a different story. Some are shaped like stars. Others resemble jaguar paws. One, your favorite, is shaped like a heart that looks slightly confused. In the far corner, your beeswax sits in a large, round pot. You keep it under a woven cover to protect it from dust, bugs, and overly curious children. It smells sweet, earthy, and faintly wild, as though the bees left their stories behind. Today's batch will need to be made for a wedding. You already spoke with the bride's aunt, who requested candles shaped like hummingbirds and little suns. For joy and fertility, she said, though you suspect it's mostly to impress her neighbors. Still, the candles will be lovely bright red, if you can grind enough cochineal. But that comes later. First, you prepare your space. You lift the cover off the wax pot and smile at the smooth golden sheen. You'll melt it slowly today, over a low flame. No rushing. Rushed wax makes grumpy candles, your mother always said. You check your wicks. Each one is hand-spun from cotton fibers you combed and twisted yourself. Some are thinner for votives. Others, thicker, to last the long hours of a vigil. You test a few in your palm, flexible, but firm. Ready. From the corner, your old dog stirs. Her name is Trolley, named after the earth. She's mostly blind now, but she still wags her tail when she hears the fire snap. You give her a small scratch behind the ear. Buenos dias, Trolley, you whisper. Another day of fire and bees, A pot of cornmeal porridge simmers on yesterday's coals. You stir it lazily with a carved stick and toss in a bit of dried fruit, maybe a slice of prickly pear. It bubbles and sighs like it, too, just woke up. As you eat, the sun begins to shift the sky. Not with drama, no gold or purple explosions, but a simple fading of stars. The kind of dawn that arrives barefoot. Across the village, faint sounds begin to echo. A baby crying. A rooster boasting. The low murmur of your neighbor grinding maize. Someone coughs 3 times, always 3, and you know it's old Mateo starting his daily walk. You sip your drink, a brew of hot water with a crushed hoja santa leaf. It smells faintly of pepper and mint. It clears your head, and your thoughts begin to organize themselves, like wicks laid in a row. Today, you will make 22 candles. 6 for the wedding. 4 for the priest's altar. The rest, for trade at the market tomorrow. You'll need more wick fiber. Perhaps Tomasa has extra, if her goats haven't chewed it all. You'll bring her a candle shaped like a turtle. She likes turtles. The candle's flame dances quietly beside you, casting a gentle glow. The house no longer feels dark, it feels held, like a story cupped in quiet hands. You look around and breathe in the morning, the warm wax, the smoke, the calm. You think, not for the first time, how strange it is that you can make something so fleeting, just a sliver of time and flame, and yet it lingers in people's lives. A candle lit at birth. Another at marriage. A final one at death. And 1,000 small flames in between. You stretch, slow and easy. Your joints crackle softly, like the fire. Trolley lets out a sleepy sigh. The world is waking now, but you are already here. Already glowing. The sun has begun its quiet rise, not with ceremony but with steady intent. Light drips into your small home through a gap near the ceiling beams, illuminating flecks of dust and the sheen of beeswax. You sip the last of your warm leaf water, and outside, you hear the market crier beginning her round. Cacao beans, 2 for 1. Guavas sweet as your mother's kisses. You smile. The world beyond your threshold is stirring, but your world, this world of wax and wick, waits for your touch. Today's first task is sacred. The flame you light this morning will be the Madre Vela, the mother candle. From it, every other candle today will be kindled. It carries the prayers, the rhythm, the intention. Some say it listens. You place a thick, squat candle on your low workbench. It's not ornamental, roughly shaped, nicked along one side, but it's loyal. You light it using the stub from last night, holding the wick with care. The flame takes its time, flickering once, twice, then blooming like a golden flower. You whisper, Tlazaomati. Thank you. You never skip this part. Even on rushed days, even when the rain pours sideways or you're low on wick string, you always thank the fire. Your mother used to say the flame chooses whether it wants to work that day. Some days, it dances. Other days, it sulks. Best to stay on its good side. You set out your molds. Wooden hearts. Tiny hummingbirds. Round discs with spiral suns etched into their faces. These shapes are old, some passed down, others carved by your own hand during a winter when trade was slow. Each one holds a story. You rub a bit of corn oil into them with a scrap of cloth so the wax one tea stick. The smell nutty, warm, familiar. Beside the molds, you place your pot of beeswax over a slow flame. It begins to melt in ribbons, golden and thick. The scent wraps around the room, sweet, grassy, almost like honey left out in the sun too long. Some of this wax came from your cousin's hives up the hill. He says his bees hum louder than anyone else's. You've never asked how he knows. You stir gently with a wooden rod. The wax loosens, shifts, sighs. This is your favorite moment of the day just before the first pour. The silence before creation. A prayer without words. From a small bowl, you take a pinch of ground cochineal deep red, powdered from dried insects collected on nopal cacti. The dye stains your fingers easily, a flush of magenta across your thumb. You drop it into the melted wax, and slowly, the golden sheen shifts to a rich crimson. For fertility. For blood that nourishes. For ceremonies that bind families under sun and sky. You check the consistency. Still too thick. Patience. Trolley lets out a snore from her corner. As the wax warms, you prepare your wicks. You unwind the cotton fibers, hand-spun from the bundle you twisted weeks ago. Each wick must be measured just right, not too long or the flame will flutter and die. Not too short or it will sputter and cry black smoke. You cut 22 lengths, your hands moving from memory. The rhythm is soothing. Pull. Stretch. Snip. Coil. Repeat. You tie a small stone to the end of each wick, just enough weight to keep it centered when dipped. Then, you line them up like sleeping snakes across your workbench. The wax is ready now, shimmering like a small lake under golden dawn. You remove it from the flame carefully and let it cool just a little. Pouring too soon causes cracks, and cracked candles feel like broken promises. One by one, you place the weighted wicks into the molds, then slowly pour in the warm red wax. Each pour must be steady, like filling a silence. No rush. The wax trickles into the curves, the crevices, hugging the designs you've memorized with your fingertips. The first batch done, you wipe your hands on your apron and let the molds rest. Wax must cool on its own terms. Like bread rising or hearts mending. You step outside for a breath. The village is fully awake now. Smoke curls from chimneys. Children run barefoot, chasing each other with sticks and squeals. A neighbor waves her hands covered in masa as she slaps tortillas onto a hot comal. You wave back and sit on the low stone by your doorway. You rest your elbows on your knees and breathe in the smell of morning, roasted maize, charcoal, wax, earth. This, too, is part of the process. The candle maker must be still sometimes. Let the wax cool. Let the mind settle. You remember a saying from your grandmother, a rushed candle burns the fingers of the maker. You didn't understand it when you were small. But now, as the wax cools inside your molds and the sun climbs slowly behind the mountains, you feel its truth settle into your bones. From down the path, a young girl walks toward you. Her name is Yatsirai. She's holding something in her arms, a clay bowl, covered with a cloth. She stops at your feet. For you, she says, and peeks beneath the cloth. Inside, fresh tamales, still steaming. You thank her with a smile and give her a tiny candle from yesterday's batch shaped like a rabbit, flecked with gold. She grins wide and runs back down the path, calling behind her, "Mama says you make the best wedding candles." You watch her disappear into the morning bustle, then sit quietly for a while longer, tamales warming your palms. Back inside, the molds have cooled. You ease the candles from their cases, careful not to rush. The shapes emerge slowly, some perfect, some slightly uneven. But they are alive with color, with scent, with purpose. You place them gently on a cloth, where they will rest before trimming the wicks and wrapping them in palm fronds. Later, you'll tuck a flower into the bride's package. A marigold, maybe, or a wild bloom from behind the house. You light another candle from the Madre Vela. It flickers, glows. You watch the light, then close your eyes. Each flame you make will outlive your hands. It will flicker at feasts, glow beside prayers, stand vigil in the quiet moments of someone else's life. And that, you think, is sacred enough. It is still dark when you open your eyes, the kind of blackness that feels thick enough to touch. The stars outside your reed and adobe walls are still twinkling, and somewhere beyond the hills, a jaguar coughs into the dawn. The village hasn't stirred yet. But you, a humble Zapotec candle maker, must begin. You sit up slowly. The air is cool and heavy with the scent of last night's fire, of embers still smoldering beneath ash, and of beeswax that melted too long and dripped onto the stones. Your mat creaks beneath you woven reeds, well worn from years of use. One corner still holds the shape of your grandmother's knees, from the last time she knelt to bless the house. Before you reach for your tools, you sit quietly. The stillness is part of the craft. You've learned this from your mother, and her mother, and her mother's mother before her. You let your mind unfurl like warm wax, softening in the quiet. From a small alcove beside the door, you pull out the ember pot. A shallow dish, carefully lined with black clay and filled with a curl of coals kept warm under ash. You blow gently. Once, twice. The faintest glow emerges, like a firefly waking up. You feed it a sliver of dry bark, and it cracks softly, grateful to be of use again. In the near dark, you pad across the earthen floor to a shallow basin carved into a slab of volcanic rock. You splash your face with water left overnight, cooled by dreams. The water smells faintly of ash and maize. You press your palms together, fingers still wet, and murmur a few words to Kasujo, god of rain and fire. His symbols decorate your little altar, a zigzag for lightning, a spiral for thunder, and a small figure carved from candle wax, softened and reshaped many times. You light your first candle of the day. It is a short one, thumb-sized and slightly lopsided. You made it 2 weeks ago with leftover wax and a cotton wick twisted too quickly, but you've come to like its imperfection. The flame blooms gently, casting shadows against the adobe wall, and your tiny home comes into focus. The walls are rough, plastered with a pale mixture of lime and clay. A few baskets hang from the beams overhead filled with dried herbs, corn husks, and old candle stubs you've yet to remelt. There's a neat row of molds carved from wood and fired clay. Each one tells a different story. Some are shaped like stars. Others resemble jaguar paws. One, your favorite, is shaped like a heart that looks slightly confused. In the far corner, your beeswax sits in a large, round pot. You keep it under a woven cover to protect it from dust, bugs, and overly curious children. It smells sweet, earthy, and faintly wild, as though the bees left their stories behind. Today's batch will need to be made for a wedding. You already spoke with the bride's aunt, who requested candles shaped like hummingbirds and little suns. For joy and fertility, she said, though you suspect it's mostly to impress her neighbors. Still, the candles will be lovely bright red, if you can grind enough cochineal. But that comes later. First, you prepare your space. You lift the cover off the wax pot and smile at the smooth golden sheen. You'll melt it slowly today, over a low flame. No rushing. Rushed wax makes grumpy candles, your mother always said. You check your wicks. Each one is hand-spun from cotton fibers you combed and twisted yourself. Some are thinner for votives. Others, thicker, to last the long hours of a vigil. You test a few in your palm, flexible, but firm. Ready. From the corner, your old dog stirs. Her name is Trolley, named after the earth. She's mostly blind now, but she still wags her tail when she hears the fire snap. You give her a small scratch behind the ear. Buenos dias, Trolley, you whisper. Another day of fire and bees, A pot of cornmeal porridge simmers on yesterday's coals. You stir it lazily with a carved stick and toss in a bit of dried fruit, maybe a slice of prickly pear. It bubbles and sighs like it, too, just woke up. As you eat, the sun begins to shift the sky. Not with drama, no gold or purple explosions, but a simple fading of stars. The kind of dawn that arrives barefoot. Across the village, faint sounds begin to echo. A baby crying. A rooster boasting. The low murmur of your neighbor grinding maize. Someone coughs 3 times, always 3, and you know it's old Mateo starting his daily walk. You sip your drink, a brew of hot water with a crushed hoja santa leaf. It smells faintly of pepper and mint. It clears your head, and your thoughts begin to organize themselves, like wicks laid in a row. Today, you will make 22 candles. 6 for the wedding. 4 for the priest's altar. The rest, for trade at the market tomorrow. You'll need more wick fiber. Perhaps Tomasa has extra, if her goats haven't chewed it all. You'll bring her a candle shaped like a turtle. She likes turtles. The candle's flame dances quietly beside you, casting a gentle glow. The house no longer feels dark, it feels held, like a story cupped in quiet hands. You look around and breathe in the morning, the warm wax, the smoke, the calm. You think, not for the first time, how strange it is that you can make something so fleeting, just a sliver of time and flame, and yet it lingers in people's lives. A candle lit at birth. Another at marriage. A final one at death. And 1,000 small flames in between. You stretch, slow and easy. Your joints crackle softly, like the fire. Trolley lets out a sleepy sigh. The candles have cooled. The afternoon sun now sinks low over the mountains, casting long shadows across the village. A quiet excitement builds in the air as preparations for the evening's wedding begin. Today is special, an occasion that brings the entire community together to celebrate love, life, and the cycle of the seasons. You pause for a moment and look at the candles you've made. They are stunning crimson red with delicate wax flowers and curling vines. Some bear images of the moon, others of the sun, with flickering light that promises warmth and protection to those who carry them. Each one is a small piece of the sacred, ready to accompany the couple on their journey into marriage. Today's bride is a young woman named Hochitl, a daughter of the village. Her family has requested a dozen of your candles to adorn the altar and to light the way through the ceremonial path. Hochitl's family, like many others, has followed this tradition for generations, choosing candles that reflect not only their hopes for the marriage but also their connection to the natural world. You pick up the candles one by one, arranging them carefully in the basket. You have a good sense of the shape of the ceremony. The candlelit procession will begin at the bride's house, where friends and family will gather, and then the wedding party will make its way to the church. Along the way, each person carries a candle, symbolic of their role in the couple's new life. It is a beautiful ritual, a blend of light, love, and tradition. As the procession begins, the air is cool, and the earth beneath your feet is firm and comforting. The wedding party walks slowly, keeping a quiet reverence as the soft flame of each candle flickers in the gentle evening breeze. The path is marked with marigolds and cempasúchil petals, bright orange and yellow, laid carefully across the dirt in intricate patterns that represent the flow of life and the eternal cycles of nature. You walk alongside Hochitle's parents, who are proudly holding their own candles, their faces full of joy and quiet pride. The village elders lead the way, their steps slow but steady, guiding the procession toward the altar. As the flickering candles create a sea of warm light, you can hear the soft thrum of a drum in the distance, signaling the arrival of the music that will soon fill the air. Each step feels like a continuation of a tradition that stretches back centuries, a moment suspended in time. It's a reminder that life, like the wax you work with, is ever-changing, shaped by hands, guided by wisdom, and warmed by the light of community. The wedding is not only a union of two individuals but a reaffirmation of the bond between generations. The ceremony is steeped in meaning. Each step in the procession is symbolic, each prayer whispered over the flames. There is no rush, no hurry. Everything unfolds slowly, gently, like the soft light of the candles that illuminate the path ahead. As you near the altar, the scent of copal incense fills the air, blending with the earthy smell of the marigolds. You pause for a moment, watching the candles in the hands of the guests, their flames steady despite the evening wind. There is something beautiful about the way the light dances, its reflection captured in the faces of those around you. The ceremony itself is simple, yet profound. Words are spoken in a soft, melodic rhythm, honoring the couple's ancestors and the earth that sustains them. Hochitle and her partner, an old childhood friend of yours named Tlachko, exchange vows, their voices barely audible above the rustling of the leaves in the trees. The wedding is a quiet, intimate moment, framed by the flickering flames that continue to glow around them. You take your place near the back of the gathering, a silent witness to this sacred moment. The candles you made earlier are now placed in a circle around the couple, their soft light casting long shadows on the stone altar. The flames are steady, like the foundation of their new life together. As the ceremony concludes, you feel a gentle sense of satisfaction. The candles have done their work illuminating the couple's path, grounding them in tradition, and offering their light as a symbol of hope. Their flames will burn through the night, watching over them as they begin their journey together. You watch the guests begin to file out, their candles now small flickering lights in the distance. There is a soft peace in the air, a quiet knowing that the village's customs and traditions continue to thrive. Back at your home, you sit for a moment, the familiar scent of beeswax still lingering in the air. The night is calm, and you reflect on the journey of the day, how each candle, each movement, had its own rhythm. You think of your grandmother's words once again, a candle is not just wax and wick. It is a promise made in light. You blow out the candle on your workbench and, as the last of the flame wavers and fades, you smile. This is your craft. This is your life. And as the last embers of the fire settle, you fall into a quiet, peaceful sleep. The day has settled into dusk, a calm yet vibrant transition where the warmth of the sun lingers just a little longer before sinking behind the hills. The last remnants of daylight bathe your village in a rich amber glow, casting long, lazy shadows over the streets, while the scent of burning wood drifts through the air. The wedding is over, but the night is far from still. In your small workshop, the candles you've made have cooled into their final shapes, each one unique, yet part of the same whole. As night falls, the soft glow of the candles you've crafted illuminates every corner of the room, filling it with a serene warmth that you know will last through the evening. The moon is rising now, casting its silvery light over the valley, its pale glow mingling with the warm amber of the candle light. You take a moment to appreciate the simplicity of it all, the unhurried pace, the steady rhythm of creation, and the deep connection to both the earth and the sky. But there is still work to be done. You gather the completed candles, the ones that will adorn the altar for tomorrow's ceremony, and set them aside to be transported. The candles must travel to the church early in the morning, along with the other offerings. There is something sacred about this journey, the carrying of the light that will guide the community through yet another spiritual passage. Each time, it feels like the weight of centuries settles in your hands. You place the candles carefully in your basket, the sweet scent of beeswax filling the air. Outside, the streets are growing quieter, save for the occasional call of an owl and the distant sounds of music from the last of the evening's celebrations. Tonight, however, is special. Tonight, the gathering of light will not be confined to your small workshop or the bride's altar. No, tonight, the village will come together in a way that is both humbling and joyous, an ancient tradition known as the Gathering of Light. It is a ceremony that spans centuries, a deeply sacred event that honors the collective spirit of the community. Once a year, the villagers gather with their own candles, large and small, simple and intricate, to walk in procession through the village, lighting the streets in a sea of flames. The light, they believe, is not just a symbol of the divine but of the community's collective strength and resilience. It's a tradition that has been passed down through generations. The early Zapotecs would light their way through the streets with torches made from agave stalks, marking the passage of time, the cycles of the moon, and the eternal connection between the living and the spirits. Over the years, the tradition evolved, and today, it is more intimate, but no less important. You take one last look around your workshop before stepping outside. The cool night air feels refreshing against your skin as you walk toward the town square, where the gathering will begin. There, you meet with your neighbors, friends, and family, everyone holding a candle, each one a piece of light to contribute to the ceremony. The village square is already starting to fill with people, each holding a flickering flame in their hands. The scene is tranquil yet filled with purpose. The flames reflect in the eyes of the villagers, shimmering with stories, prayers, and dreams. A soft bell rings in the distance, signaling the start of the procession. Slowly, the crowd begins to move. You find your place in the line, holding your own candle carefully, and join the rhythmic shuffle of footsteps that lead toward the church. The path is lined with flowers, with ribbons of marigolds and cempasúchil spread across the cobblestone, marking the way for the procession. As you walk, the light from each candle mingles with the light from the others, creating a soft, living glow that seems to pulse with the heartbeat of the community. The world around you narrows, and all that remains is the soft glow of the candles, the gentle whispers of your neighbors, and the quiet rhythm of the march. The sound of the wind rustles through the trees, mixing with the soft hum of voices and the occasional clink of metal lanterns. The procession winds its way through the village, a line of glowing points of light that stretch toward the horizon. As you reach the church, you place your candle among the others on the altar. It is a quiet, respectful moment, no fanfare, no applause. Just a shared understanding of what this light represents: hope, unity, and the strength of the community, lit by the simple, enduring flame of the candle. The villagers stand together in a circle, their candles casting a warm, flickering glow around the altar. The silence is peaceful, not empty, but filled with the hum of generations past and the quiet promise of the future. In this moment, you feel a deep connection to the land, to your ancestors, and to your fellow villagers. It's as if the light that flickers in your candle holds all of this, and more. The ritual continues as the villagers pray in unison. The light of the candle seems to grow brighter, reflecting off the walls of the church, filling every corner with warmth and peace. It is a moment of collective renewal, of acknowledging the shared burdens and joys, and of finding strength in the act of lighting the way for one another. The ceremony lasts for hours, but time feels suspended as the flickering flames continue their steady dance. There's something timeless about the process, a rhythm that has carried through the centuries, passed down from one generation to the next, as steady as the stars overhead. Eventually, the candles begin to burn low, and the procession winds down. The villagers begin to disperse, walking back to their homes, carrying the light with them. You return to your workshop, feeling the weight of the evening's ritual in your bones, but also a quiet peace. Tonight, the gathering of light has been completed, just as it has been for countless generations before you. You are, in this moment, part of something ancient and enduring, a thread in the fabric of a tradition that stretches back through time, lighting the way for those who come after. The following morning, the village is quieter. The winds that had swept through the night seem to carry with them a quiet reverence, as though the earth itself is taking a moment to rest after the energy of the gathering of light. The candles that had burned so brightly now lie melted down to the last stubs, remnants of their flame still faintly glowing in the corners of your mind. You find yourself reflecting on the cyclical nature of this practice, and of life itself. You sit down at your workbench once more, surrounded by the tools and materials that have become so familiar over the years, the beeswax, the cotton wicks, the molds. The light from the window spills across your workspace, casting long shadows on the walls. You feel the weight of the world in your hands, and yet there is a comfort in the familiar motions, the dipping, the cooling, the steady rhythm that has persisted for generations. Today, you are not simply making candles. You are weaving together history, the stories of those who came before you, the generations that shaped the craft and the culture. The wax in your hands feels like a living connection to the past, as though the very material carries with it the wisdom of your ancestors. You think about how your work is not just a matter of craft, but of honoring those who have walked this land for centuries. Candles, after all, are more than just light. They are vessels for memory and tradition. Each time you create one, you are preserving a story, a piece of the past that would otherwise fade into the shadows. And in that sense, your work as a candle maker is timeless, rooted in the ancient practices of your people, yet always adapting, evolving, and growing. Your mind wanders to the story of the ancient Zapotecs, who first crafted candles for use in ceremonies and rituals. They, too, used the wax as a way of connecting with the divine, of offering light to the gods. In those days, the candles were made from tallow, a substance derived from animal fat, and their shapes were simple but meaningful, often fashioned in the shape of animals, symbols of fertility, or representations of the gods themselves. As the centuries passed, the materials changed, but the purpose remained the same. The beeswax you use today, more fragrant and refined, still carries the same spiritual weight as the tallow of old. And the motifs that adorn your candles, flowers, birds, the sun, and the moon, are echoes of the symbols that your ancestors carved into their own creations. You take a moment to examine a newly made candle, its wick still soft from the heat of the wax. The wax itself is smooth and cool now, a rich, golden hue with just a hint of red, the color of life, warmth, and sustenance. You run your fingers over its surface, tracing the small flowers and vines you've etched into it, marveling at how the design is both an expression of your creativity and a continuation of a tradition that has endured for thousands of years. As you work, you begin to think of the role these candles have played throughout history, not just in rituals and celebrations, but in the everyday lives of your ancestors. Before electricity, candles were the primary source of light, and they were essential in both homes and temples. They illuminated the long nights, providing warmth and comfort during the coldest months, and guiding people through the darkness of uncertainty and fear. In the Zapotec world, light was deeply symbolic. The sun, the moon, and the stars were not just physical objects, but manifestations of powerful forces that governed the universe. Light represented the divine, the life force that sustained the world, and the cycle of life and death. It was no surprise, then, that candles were used in nearly every aspect of Zapotec life, from weddings to funerals, from harvest festivals to daily prayers. They were a constant reminder of the sacred nature of existence. You think of the ancient temple of Monte Alban, where the Zapotecs once gathered to honor their gods. The great stone altars would have been adorned with candles, their flames flickering in the wind, casting long shadows over the stone carvings that tell the stories of the gods and kings. In those days, the candles were part of a grander ritual, a way of offering light to the gods in exchange for their blessings and protection. As the centuries passed, these rituals evolved, but the candles remained. They continued to play a vital role in the spiritual life of the Zapotec people, even as the empire fell and the traditions shifted. The beauty of candle making lies in its ability to connect the present with the past, to keep alive the ancient customs that have shaped your people. And so, as you dip the cotton wicks into the melted wax once again, you feel a sense of purpose. You are not just continuing a craft, you are honoring a legacy. The candles you create are not simply objects, they are a bridge between the past and the present, a way of preserving the spirit of your ancestors while simultaneously shaping the future. You wonder about the people who will use your candles, the lives they will touch. Will they carry them through the streets during the gathering of light? Will they place them on their altars in prayer, or use them to illuminate a quiet evening with family? In a way, it doesn't matter. The light of your candles will continue to serve as a symbol of hope, connection, and remembrance, no matter how they are used. As you finish the last candle for the day, you take a step back and admire your work. The room is filled with the soft glow of the flames, casting gentle shadows on the walls. It is a simple, serene scene, one that has been repeated countless times throughout history. The work is done, for now, but the light will continue. You gather the finished candles, setting them aside to cool, and take a moment to reflect on the path that brought you here. You are a link in a long chain of candle makers, stretching back through the centuries to the first hands that ever molded wax and wick. In this way, your work is both timeless and uniquely yours, a blend of tradition and creativity, of honoring the past and embracing the future. The wax may melt and the flame may fade, but the light never truly disappears. It simply moves on, passing from one generation to the next, illuminating the path for those who come after. As the days slip into one another, the world continues its unhurried rhythm. There is a certain sweetness in the simplicity of the work you do, a quiet joy that comes from the act of creation itself. Each day spent in the workshop, carefully crafting the candles, is a day of quiet fulfillment. The wax, the wick, and the flame come together in perfect harmony, bringing both light and warmth to the lives of those who use your candles. Yet, as you sit at your workbench, dipping the wicks into the molten wax once more, your thoughts wander. There is a deep satisfaction in seeing the fruits of your labor come to life, but you also recognize that there is something beyond the physical act of creation that draws you to this craft. It is the connection to the earth, to the very materials you use, and to the centuries of tradition that have shaped your craft. The beeswax, in particular, holds a special place in your heart. It is rich in history, its golden hue a symbol of abundance and life. The bees that produce the wax are creatures of remarkable precision, working tirelessly to create something so simple and yet so precious. You admire their dedication, their ability to transform nectar into something as pure and vital as wax. It is a lesson in patience and perseverance, a reminder that even the smallest creatures play an important role in the grand tapestry of life. As you hold the wax in your hands, its warmth spreading through your fingertips, you are reminded of the connection between all things. The bees that created the wax have worked in harmony with the earth, gathering nectar from the flowers that bloom in the fields, turning it into something that will bring light to the world. In a way, your role as a candle maker is simply to help the bees' work come to fruition, to transform the wax into something that will continue to carry light, long after its creation. You pause for a moment, considering the deeper meaning of this. The act of creating a candle is not just about producing a physical object, it is about harnessing the energy of nature and shaping it into something that will serve a higher purpose. The flame of a candle is more than just light, it is a symbol of life itself, of warmth, and of connection. It is a tiny beacon in the darkness, a reminder that even in the most uncertain times, there is always hope. The candles you craft will eventually be carried out into the world, each one finding its place in the homes and hearts of those who seek its light. Whether they are placed on an altar, used to light a quiet dinner, or carried in a procession through the streets, each candle holds a piece of the earth, a piece of nature, and a piece of you. It is this connection to the world around you that makes your work so fulfilling. As you dip another wick into the wax, you feel a sense of peace wash over you. There is no rush, no pressure to finish quickly. You move at your own pace, letting the work unfold in its own time. In the quiet of your workshop, you can hear the subtle hum of the beeswax as it cools, the soft crackle of the fire as it burns, and the distant sounds of the village going about its day. Your thoughts turn to the villagers who will use your candles. They, too, have their own rhythms, their own routines, and their own ways of creating. Some will use the candles in religious ceremonies, offering them as symbols of prayer and devotion. Others will light them to mark the changing of the seasons, or to bring warmth to a cold evening. Some might even use them as a simple way to create a peaceful ambience in their homes, a quiet reminder of the beauty that exists in the world. There is something deeply comforting about the thought that your work will become part of the daily lives of so many people. It is a humbling feeling, knowing that the small, simple candles you make will help light the way for others, both literally and figuratively. In their small glow, they will provide a sense of calm and clarity, a moment of stillness in the midst of a busy world. And then there is the sweetness of the beeswax itself. The scent of it is subtle, sweet, and earthy, a reminder of the flowers and fields from which it was harvested. It is a fragrance that lingers in the air, creating a sense of warmth and comfort. In a way, the scent of the wax is a memory, a connection to the natural world that surrounds you. Every time you inhale its gentle aroma, you are reminded of the delicate balance that exists between the earth and the sky, between the flowers and the bees, between the candle and the flame. The beeswax is not just a material, it is a gift from nature, a precious resource that has been used for centuries in the making of candles. It has a long history, stretching back to ancient times, when it was first harvested by the Egyptians and the Greeks. The wax was prized not only for its ability to burn brightly but also for its purity and durability. It was a symbol of wealth and power, often used in religious ceremonies and offerings to the gods. In your own work, you are part of this ancient tradition, continuing a craft that has been passed down through the generations. The candles you make may not be as grand as those used in the temples of ancient civilizations, but they carry the same sacred energy. Each one is imbued with a piece of history, a piece of nature, and a piece of your own spirit. As you work, you think about the families who will use your candles, the mothers who will light them to guide their children to sleep, the elders who will use them in their quiet prayers, and the couples who will light them during intimate moments of togetherness. Each time someone lights one of your candles, they will be connecting with a long history, with the land, and with the very essence of life itself. The work is simple, yet profound. Each candle you make is a small act of creation, a small gift to the world. It is a reminder that, even in the most ordinary moments, there is beauty to be found. And in that beauty, there is peace. You set down the final candle for the day and take a step back, looking at the soft glow that now fills the room. The scent of beeswax lingers in the air, and the warmth of the candles is a reminder that, no matter how small, your work has brought light to the world. As you close the door to your workshop and step into the cool night air, you feel a sense of satisfaction. The work is done for now, but the light will continue to shine, and in that light, you know there is always sweetness to be found. As the days unfold in your quiet workshop, the rhythm of candle making becomes second nature. The wax, now cool and solid, is an anchor in the daily dance of creation. Yet, there is an undeniable magic in the transition between the humble, solid block of beeswax and the flickering light that emerges once a wick is lit. It is this moment the birth of a flame that holds a deep mystery, a transformation that is both immediate and eternal. Each time you light a candle, there is a sense of awe in the simplicity of it. The wax, patiently molded by your hands, suddenly bursts into life, its golden hue now illuminated by the flame. It seems almost alive, as though the very essence of the earth is awakening and reaching toward the heavens. The flame, gentle but steady, casts long shadows on the walls, its light flickering like a heartbeat in the quiet of the room. It is a dance between the wax and the flame, a timeless exchange that has been repeated countless times throughout history. The flame itself is more than just heat and light. It is a symbol of the divine, a representation of the sun and the stars, and, to many, a reflection of the soul. Ancient civilizations revered fire, seeing it as a bridge between the earthly realm and the heavens. The flame was both a source of life and a reminder of the impermanence of existence. In its flicker, there was a profound truth that all things burn and fade in time, yet the light they give remains. You think back to the rituals of your ancestors, the Zapotecs, and how the flame of the candle was seen as a connection to the divine. The candles they made, often used in ceremonies to honor their gods, were more than just tools for illumination. They were offerings, vessels of light that carried prayers and intentions to the heavens. The Zapotecs believed that fire, like the sun, was a powerful force that could purify and transform. When the flame of a candle was lit, it was said to carry the essence of the worshipper's soul, sending it upward in a silent prayer. As you watch the flame dance on the wick, you can almost feel the presence of those who came before you. The same flame that flickered in the temples of Monte Alban now burns in your workshop, a continuous thread connecting the past with the present. It is a flame of continuity, a symbol of the unbroken link between generations, and a reminder that the work you do is part of something much larger than yourself. The act of lighting a candle is an intimate one, a quiet moment of reflection that transcends the material world. There is a peace in watching the flame grow, in seeing the wax slowly melt and transform. It is as though the candle itself is alive, unfolding its story in slow motion. You marvel at the way the light changes as the wax drips down the sides, how the flame shifts in size depending on the wax's consistency. Each candle has its own rhythm, its own personality, and it is a joy to witness this quiet transformation. In a way, the flame is both a beginning and an end. It is the start of the candle's life, but it also signals the end of its purpose. The wax will melt away, the wick will burn down to nothing, and the light will fade. And yet, the light does not truly disappear, it simply transforms, moving into the air as warmth, as energy, as a lingering memory. The flame, though it may burn out, has left behind a trace of itself, an imprint on the world. You reflect on the role that fire has played throughout history, how it has shaped human civilization and culture. In ancient times, fire was both a tool for survival and a source of ritual power. The hearth was the heart of the home, a place of warmth, cooking, and community. The light of the fire was essential to daily life, guiding people through the darkness and providing sustenance. It was in the glow of the fire that families gathered, stories were told, and bonds were formed. The Zapotecs, like many ancient cultures, understood the importance of fire. They used it in everything from cooking to warfare, from ceremonies to everyday life. The candles they crafted were not just decorative, they were functional, a tool that brought light to the darkness, a means of connecting with the divine and with one another. The flame, like the wax, was a symbol of life, of light, and of hope. As you sit in your workshop, watching the candle burn before you, you begin to realize that the act of making and lighting a candle is more than just a craft, it is a meditation on the passage of time. The flame that burns now was once a tiny spark, a flicker of potential. It is the same with all things in life, beginnings are humble, but with time, they grow, they change, and they fade. And yet, even as the flame dies, it leaves behind a trace, a memory of its light, of its warmth. You reach for another wick, dipping it into the wax, watching the flame grow brighter as the new candle takes shape. The cycle continues, the wax and the flame in their eternal dance. With each new candle, you are not just creating a source of light, you are continuing a tradition that stretches back through the ages. You are honoring the work of those who came before you, and you are passing on a legacy of warmth, light, and connection. The flame of the candle is a reminder that, even in the darkest moments, there is always light to be found. It is a symbol of hope, of resilience, and of the quiet power that lies within the simplest of things. The wax may melt away, the wick may burn down, but the flame, the light, will continue to shine. As the candle burns lower, you find yourself lost in the quiet flicker of its flame. The world outside fades away, leaving only the gentle glow, the warmth, and the peace that comes with knowing that, in this moment, everything is as it should be. The wax and the flame will continue their dance, and you will continue your work, each candle a small act of creation, a small gift to the world, and in that gift, there is light that will endure long after the flame has faded, a quiet legacy that will carry on through the generations. As the days blend seamlessly into one another, the work continues quiet, steady, unhurried. The gentle light of the candles fills your workshop, casting long shadows across the walls, each flicker a soft reminder of the simplicity and power of your craft. In the cool stillness of the evening, as the last rays of the sun disappear behind the hills, there is something almost meditative in watching the candles burn. Their steady glow is like a pulse, a heartbeat in the quiet of the world. You pause to reflect on the deeper significance of the candle's flame. It's not just a source of light, nor merely a tool for warmth. There's an ancient, almost sacred quality to it. It's as if every candle is a small embodiment of eternity, burning, melting, but never truly disappearing. The wax may melt away, the wick may burn to ash, but the light itself lingers in a way that transcends the material world. It leaves a trace, an imprint, even after the flame has gone out. It's the nature of fire itself that has captivated humankind for centuries. Across cultures and ages, fire has been a symbol of transformation, of creation and destruction, of life and death. The Greeks believed that fire was one of the four fundamental elements, a force that bridged the heavens and the earth. For them, fire was divine, a gift from the gods. Prometheus, the Titan, is said to have stolen fire from the gods and given it to humans, an act that symbolized the gift of knowledge and creativity. In many ways, the flame of a candle carries the same divine spark. It is a gift, not just of light, but of connection, a link between the mundane and the sacred. As the years pass, the ritual of candle making becomes more than just a way of passing time, it becomes a form of meditation. The simple act of dipping the wick into the molten wax is a process of quiet reflection. Each movement, each touch, is infused with intention. The rhythm of the work becomes a chant, a prayer. With each candle you make, you are not just shaping wax and wick, you are shaping light itself. The light of the candle, in its quiet glow, becomes a metaphor for the passage of time. It is a reminder that life, though fleeting, is also beautiful in its impermanence. Every moment is like the flicker of a candle's flame here, and then gone, but leaving behind a lingering glow, a warmth that remains long after the light has faded. The candle's flame does not burn forever, but while it does burn, it provides light, warmth, and comfort. It's a lesson in the transience of life, and yet, there's comfort in that transience. The knowledge that everything has its time, that nothing lasts forever, gives each moment a sense of urgency, a beauty that might otherwise go unnoticed. The flame's brief life is an invitation to savor the present, to appreciate the fleeting moments that make up our lives. In the village, you hear the quiet sounds of life continuing, children playing in the distance, the soft murmur of conversation as neighbors share stories. The pace of life may be slow, but it is steady, and the candles you create are part of that rhythm. Whether they are used to mark a sacred moment, light the path during a celebration, or simply add warmth to a home, they become a quiet part of the everyday. They are woven into the fabric of daily life, a constant, dependable presence. The eternal glow of a candle, as it flickers softly in the dark, is also a symbol of continuity. Though the flame may be small, it holds within it the potential for connection. It connects the present moment to those who came before, to the generations who have relied on fire for warmth and light. It connects the sacred to the everyday, the divine to the human. The flame is both an anchor and a bridge. You remember the stories your grandmother told you when you were young, the tales of the gods, of heroes and warriors, and of the many ways in which fire has shaped the world. She would speak of the mighty volcanoes that shaped the landscape, of the sun that brought warmth to the earth, and of the small, flickering flames that lit the paths of the ancestors. Fire, in all its forms, was revered as both a destroyer and a creator. It was both a gift and a challenge. And yet, despite its destructive potential, fire also holds the promise of renewal. In the villages of old, the hearth was the center of life, where food was cooked, stories were told, and families gathered. It was the fire that brought people together, and it was the fire that gave warmth during the cold nights. In the flickering light of the hearth, there was a sense of security, a feeling that, no matter what challenges the world might bring, there would always be warmth, light, and companionship. In the same way, the candles you create are symbols of that warmth and security. They carry with them the promise of connection to the past, to the earth, and to those around you. Whether they burn in a quiet home, in a temple, or at a celebration, they offer a space for contemplation, for reflection, and for connection. As you light a new candle, watching the flame grow brighter and stronger, you feel a deep sense of peace. It's as if the world has slowed down for a moment, and all that matters is the soft glow of the flame, the warmth it provides, and the quiet stillness that comes with it. The work you do, the candles you create, are part of something larger than yourself. They are a small part of the great cycle of life, a cycle that is ever turning, ever renewing. With each candle, you are not just creating light, you are creating a moment of peace, a space for quiet reflection. You are offering a small piece of eternity, captured in the fleeting glow of a flame. As the candle burns lower, its glow softens, casting a gentle light over the room. The work for the day is done, but the legacy of the light remains. You leave the workshop, closing the door behind you, knowing that the warmth and peace of the candles you've made will continue to glow in the hearts of those who use them. As the evening sky darkens and the stars begin their slow journey across the heavens, a deep sense of tranquility washes over you. You're standing outside your workshop, gazing up at the night, where the full moon casts a soft, silver glow across the land. The quiet stillness of the world around you mirrors the peace you've found in your work. The candles you've crafted today, their soft light now embedded in your memory, carry with them more than just the warmth of a flickering flame. They carry a legacy, one that stretches across time, cultures, and generations. As you think about the tradition of candle making, you reflect on how deeply connected it is to the human experience. Since the dawn of civilization, humans have looked to fire not only for warmth and survival but for meaning. Fire is the first gift that we received from nature, and it has been central to our stories, our rituals, and our survival. In the light of a fire or candle, humans have found clarity in times of darkness, literally and figuratively. The light has symbolized hope, knowledge, and connection. The candles you create are more than just a source of light, they are a reflection of the continuity between past and present. The wax and the wick, the flame and the light, they are timeless elements that have been used in the same way by countless cultures across millennia. From the early Egyptians, who used candles in their religious ceremonies, to the medieval monasteries where monks crafted beeswax candles for illumination and prayer, the act of creating light from fire has been a universal practice. It's a thread that runs through human history, binding generations together in a shared understanding of what it means to create something lasting. You smile softly, thinking of how your craft connects you to those distant ancestors, the ones who first discovered the power of fire. You are part of that same long tradition, adding your own humble contributions to the tapestry of human experience. Every candle you create carries with it a piece of that legacy, a quiet testament to the enduring human spirit and the need to bring light into the world. As you reflect, you think back to the Zapotecs, the ancient people who first taught you the art of candle making. They, too, understood the significance of light. In their ceremonies, candles were not just for illumination. They were a form of communication with the divine, a way to bridge the gap between the mortal and the immortal. The flame was seen as a sacred offering, carrying prayers to the gods. The Zapotecs believed that the light of a candle could guide the spirits of the deceased to their final resting place, providing them with a gentle passage into the afterlife. You realize that, in a way, your candles are also part of that sacred exchange. Whether they are used to celebrate a festival, to light a path in the darkness, or to mark a moment of quiet reflection, they carry with them a purpose beyond mere functionality. They are vessels of light, carrying with them the intention of the maker and the hope of the user. In each candle, there is a quiet prayer, a wish for peace, for safety, for connection. The legacy of the candle is not just in its function but in its symbolism. The candle has been a symbol of light in the darkness for centuries. It is a reminder that, even in our darkest moments, there is always hope. The light of the candle is a constant, a steady presence in a world that is often unpredictable and full of uncertainty. When you light a candle, you are making a small act of defiance against the darkness, declaring that light, whether physical or metaphorical, can always be found, even in the most difficult of circumstances. You find comfort in the knowledge that your work, while humble, is part of this larger story. The candles you make will not last forever, but their light will continue to have an impact. They will be lit in moments of celebration, in moments of sorrow, and in moments of quiet contemplation. And even after the flame has burned out and the wax has melted away, the memory of the light will remain. There is something deeply satisfying in this idea, the knowledge that your work will outlast you, that your candles will continue to provide light and warmth long after your hands have stopped shaping the wax. In a way, the act of creating these small flames is an act of immortality. Your light will continue to shine in the homes, temples, and ceremonies of others, carrying with it a piece of your own story. In the flicker of the flame, your legacy lives on. As the evening deepens, you return to your workshop and light another candle. The soft glow fills the room, casting a gentle warmth across the shelves lined with finished candles. You sit for a moment, taking it all in. The quiet peace that settles over you is the result of a day well spent, a day where you've crafted something that will bring light to the world. You are, in many ways, part of a larger family, the family of makers, creators, and dreamers who have shaped the course of history with their hands. Whether it's through the delicate art of candle making, the construction of great temples, or the weaving of stories that capture the hearts of generations, you are contributing to something that will endure. You blow out the candle, watching as the last of the flame flickers and fades. But even as the light goes out, you know that it will live on, in the memories of those who have seen it, in the warmth it has provided, and in the legacy of light that you continue to pass on. The night is a canvas, and the candles are the artists. As you sit in the quiet of your workshop, the flickering flames play across the walls, casting long shadows that seem to dance in time with the flickering light. It is a spectacle that, while subtle, holds a certain magic, a dance between light and dark that has been a part of human history for as long as fire itself. The light from the candles doesn't just illuminate the physical space around you, it transforms the very atmosphere. Shadows stretch and contract as the flame flickers, and the contours of your workshop take on an almost mystical quality. Every object, the shelves, the tools, the small vials of colored wax, appears as though it is part of a living, breathing world. The interplay of light and shadow gives everything a soft, ethereal glow, as though your surroundings are caught in a quiet dream. It's a strange and beautiful thing, this dance of light and shadow. As the flame burns steadily, the shadows move with a grace that seems almost deliberate, as if they are part of a secret choreography. The way the light touches the edges of the objects around you, casting just enough illumination to reveal their forms without fully defining them, creates an atmosphere of mystery. It's as though the world itself is only partially revealed, leaving room for the imagination to fill in the gaps. This delicate balance between light and dark is a reflection of life itself. Much like the candle's flame, life is full of contrasts, light and dark, joy and sorrow, warmth and cold. The flickering flame reminds you that both light and shadow are necessary for the beauty of the world. Without darkness, light would have no meaning. It is the contrast between the two that makes both so powerful. As you work, you find yourself contemplating this interplay. Each movement you make, each turn of the wick in the molten wax, is a part of this larger, cosmic dance. The flame you create with each candle is both an expression of light and a recognition of the shadow it casts. It's a reminder that even in the brightest moments, there is darkness, quiet, subtle, and often beautiful in its own right. The shadows cast by the flickering candlelight are not something to fear or avoid. Rather, they are an essential part of the light's journey. Without shadows, light would be bland, one-dimensional. The shadows give the light depth, texture, and complexity. They shape the way we see the world, creating depth where there would otherwise be none. They are as much a part of the experience as the light itself. This dance of shadows and light has been observed and revered throughout history. In ancient Egypt, candles and oil lamps were used in sacred rituals, where the interplay of light and shadow was believed to be a manifestation of the gods. The Egyptians understood that light was not just a physical phenomenon, but a spiritual one as well. The flickering of a flame was seen as a connection between the earthly realm and the divine, a bridge between the mortal and the immortal. The Greeks, too, recognized the power of light and shadow. In their philosophical writings, they often explored the symbolism of light as a metaphor for knowledge and enlightenment, with shadow representing ignorance and the unknown. The famous allegory of Plato's cave portrays prisoners chained in a dark cave, unable to see the light outside. The shadows they see on the walls are all they know of the world, until one prisoner escapes and is bathed in the light of truth. The contrast between light and shadow in this allegory is a representation of the journey from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to enlightenment. In medieval Europe, the interplay of light and shadow took on even greater significance in religious contexts. Churches and cathedrals were designed with intricate stained glass windows that allowed the light to pour in, casting vibrant patterns of color onto the stone floors. The shifting patterns of light and shadow created an almost mystical atmosphere, where the divine seemed to manifest in the light itself. The medieval mind saw light as a symbol of God's presence, and the shadows as a reminder of humanity's fallibility. As the flame dances in front of you, casting its soft glow across the room, you realize that your work as a candle maker is not just about creating something functional. It is about participating in this ancient tradition of light and shadow, of bringing balance to the world. Each candle you make carries with it this duality: it provides light, but it also casts shadow. It illuminates the world around you, but it also creates spaces where the unknown can exist. This interplay is also a reminder of the fragility of life itself. The candle's flame, while steady and reliable, is always at the mercy of the elements. A sudden gust of wind, a change in the air's temperature, and the flame could flicker out. Just as quickly as the light appears, it can disappear. But in that brief moment, the light is everything. It is a fleeting, fragile thing, and yet it has the power to change the world. As you light another candle and watch its flame grow, you think about the countless moments in history when light has played a pivotal role. From the torches that guided travelers through the darkened streets of ancient cities to the lanterns that lit the way for explorers venturing into the unknown, light has always been a symbol of hope and direction. The shadows, too, have their place, though they are less talked about. They are just as essential. Shadows give the light context. They reveal the texture of the world and make the light shine even brighter by contrast. It is in the spaces between light and shadow, in the moments when both coexist, that true beauty emerges. And so, as you work with the wax, shaping each candle, you are aware of the dance that is taking place, the balance between light and shadow, the interplay of opposing forces that create something larger than either alone. The flame of each candle is a reminder that life itself is a dance, one that must be navigated with grace, patience, and an understanding of both the light and the shadows that shape our world. As the last candle burns low, you step back and take a moment to appreciate the quiet beauty of the space around you. The shadows have grown longer, but the room remains filled with a soft, warm light. There is a quiet satisfaction in knowing that your work, your small contribution to the world, will continue to create this dance of light and shadow for years to come. There is something inherently quiet and graceful about the way a candle is reborn, moment by moment. With every flicker of the flame, it is both fleeting and eternal, slowly dissolving into the air, its essence carried on the soft winds of time. For all the centuries candles have been made and used, their ability to transform darkness into light, if only for a moment, remains unchanged. A candle's life, like all lives, is defined by its passage from light to dark, from being to nothingness. But there's a kind of magic in that journey. You look at the last remnants of your day's work, an array of candles, each glowing softly in the dimming light. It is a quiet triumph, a series of small rebirths. The wax has been molded, the wick placed carefully at the center, and now each candle lives in its own time, offering warmth and light to whoever needs it. You know these small creations will not last forever, but they will serve their purpose while they can, illuminating homes, comforting weary souls, and lighting the way through dark nights. The rebirth of each candle is a small ritual, one that mirrors the rhythm of life itself. Each time you light a new candle, you are giving it the chance to shine for just a little while. The flame flickers and grows, slowly transforming the space around it. And then, as the hours pass, the light fades, and the candle is reborn into darkness. But the cycle is eternal. The candle will be lit again, over and over, and each time, it will fulfill its purpose once more. It's a humbling thought. In the vast expanse of history, candles have been there at the edges of every significant moment, whether they were lighting a sacred altar in a temple, casting a soft glow on the pages of ancient manuscripts, or illuminating the first steps of a child learning to walk. Candles have always been part of the backdrop of life's most meaningful moments. Though they are simple, they carry with them an extraordinary significance. As you sit in your workshop, surrounded by the stillness of the night, you can't help but reflect on the many times you've seen candles used in moments of transition. Weddings, births, deaths, and festivals all are marked by the gentle glow of a flame. It's remarkable, really, how something so simple can hold so much meaning. In ancient civilizations, candles were seen not just as practical tools but as symbols of life and death, light and shadow, knowledge and ignorance. The Egyptians, who made elaborate oil lamps for their temples, believed that light could guide the souls of the dead to the afterlife. In Rome, during the festival of Saturnalia, candles were lit in homes and temples to honor the gods. They believed that the light of the candle could drive away evil spirits and protect the home. But the most profound meaning of the candle lies not in the rituals and ceremonies, but in its quiet, everyday use. The candle has always been there, in the background, offering a soft, steady light. Whether it was the flicker of a candle illuminating a night of writing or the glow of a lantern guiding a traveler through the wilderness, the candle has been a symbol of hope, of steady progress, and of quiet resilience. As the night deepens and the last of the evening's work is done, you take a moment to reflect on your role in this eternal cycle. You are, in your own way, a part of the rebirth of each candle. You create them, shape them, and give them life, but it is the flame, the moment when the wick catches fire, that gives them their true purpose. The flame is the life force that turns the humble wax into something far greater than itself. It transforms the candle from a mere object into something that holds meaning. And just as a candle is reborn with each flicker of its flame, so too are the memories it creates. Each time a candle is lit, it carries with it the hopes and dreams of those who use it. The quiet moments shared in the light of a candle are often the most cherished. It is in these moments, when the world outside is quiet, when the shadows have lengthened, and the light flickers softly, that we find clarity, peace, and connection. You think about the many people whose lives will intersect with the candles you've made. Some will use them to mark a celebration, others to find comfort in dark times. The candles will be lit in solitude and in company, in moments of joy and of sorrow. Each time the wick is lit, it is as though the candle is reborn, offering a new chance to create meaning and connection in the world. It's a reminder of how fleeting life is, and yet how enduring the impact of small moments can be. The candle, though it may burn down and fade away, leaves behind a memory. The warmth it provides, the light it offers, stays with you long after the flame has gone out. And even when the candle has melted into nothing, its purpose has been fulfilled. It has brought light into the world, and in that act, it has made a difference. As the last of the day's work is completed, and the soft glow of the candles flickers around you, you feel a sense of quiet pride. Your hands have created these small sources of light, and they will go on to bring warmth and peace to others. There is something deeply fulfilling in knowing that your work has this kind of impact, even if it is in ways that are quiet and unnoticed. The candles will carry on the cycle of light, each one reborn as the flame is lit once again. With the final candle flickering softly, you sit back and allow the stillness to settle around you. The world is quiet, the air still, and the candles now dimming stand as a silent testament to the work you've done. Though the flame has gone out, the light remains. The quiet ritual of lighting a candle is one that has been practiced by countless generations before you. It is a simple act, one that requires little thought or effort, yet it holds deep significance. Whether it is the moment before a meal, the start of a sacred evening prayer, or simply the need for a little warmth and light on a cold night, the lighting of a candle is always an act of intention. It is a pause in the day, a moment of reflection, and a recognition of the power of light to illuminate not only the room but also the heart. As you reach for your match, a flicker of curiosity passes through your mind. How did this humble act of lighting a flame come to hold such power across the ages? What is it about the soft, steady glow of a candle that invites such reverence and ritual? The answer lies not just in the flame, but in the space it creates, the atmosphere it builds. Lighting a candle brings a subtle change to the environment, transforming the ordinary into something sacred, if only for a moment. It softens the harshness of the world, creating a quiet space where the mind can rest, where thoughts can settle, and where time itself seems to slow down. The simple act of lighting a candle is deeply ingrained in cultures and traditions across the world. From the most sacred ceremonies to the most mundane moments of daily life, the candle plays an essential role in marking time, marking change, and marking the passage of moments. Each time you strike the match, you are connecting with a long history of people who have done the same, whether it was a mother lighting a candle by her child's bedside or a traveler lighting a lamp to guide them through the dark. In many cultures, the act of lighting a candle carries deep spiritual meaning. In Christianity, candles are lit during prayer and worship as symbols of faith and divine presence. In Jewish tradition, the lighting of the Shabbat candles marks the beginning of the Sabbath and signifies the separation of the sacred from the mundane. In Hinduism, oil lamps called diyas are lit during festivals such as Diwali, symbolizing the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. The symbolism of light in these traditions is universal. Light, in many cultures, is a representation of hope, enlightenment, and divine favor. It is a force that banishes darkness, both physical and metaphorical, and illuminates the path forward. The flickering flame of a candle, with its brief yet profound life, offers a glimpse into something greater than ourselves. It is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light can always be found, even if it is just a small flicker in the vast darkness of the night. But it's not just religious or spiritual traditions that elevate the lighting of a candle into a ritual. There is something about the candle's soft, steady glow that brings people together. In times of celebration, a cake adorned with candles marks the beginning of a new year of life. The soft light of the birthday candles brings an intimate sense of connection, a shared moment of joy between family and friends. It is as if, in those moments, the world slows down, and for a brief time, all that matters is the flickering flame and the wish made upon it. In the same way, the lighting of a candle in times of mourning carries with it a powerful sense of reverence. Candles have been lit at vigils, memorials, and funerals as a sign of respect, remembrance, and mourning. The light of the candle represents the soul, which, like the flame, lives on even after the body has passed. It is a reminder of the light that was brought into the world by the person who has gone, and the hope that their memory will continue to shine. For you, in the stillness of your workshop, the lighting of the candle is a personal ritual, a pause in the day to connect with the work you've created. It's not just about making a product, it's about taking a moment to appreciate the process, the history, and the meaning behind it. Each candle you light is an offering, a small, quiet ritual that brings both comfort and connection. It's a way of marking the passage of time, of honoring the tradition that has been passed down through the generations. And each time you light a new candle, you are part of that tradition, adding your own small contribution to the legacy of those who came before. The ritual itself is simple, but its significance is deep. As you light the wick, the flame begins to grow, casting a warm, inviting light into the room. The air shifts, the atmosphere changes, and for a moment, everything feels as though it has come to rest. The act of lighting a candle is an invitation to pause, to breathe, and to be present. It is a reminder that even in the busiest of lives, there is always time for stillness, for quiet reflection, and for connection to something greater. Perhaps it is this quality of stillness, this quiet moment of reflection, that makes the lighting of a candle so universally powerful. It is a moment of peace in a chaotic world, a chance to create space for the soul to breathe. In the flickering light, there is both the comfort of the familiar and the promise of something more. It's an invitation to slow down, to be present, and to remember that in the dark times, light will always find a way through. For the candle, the ritual is the same each time. But for you, each time you light one, it's a chance to reflect on something new. Perhaps it is a thought, a memory, or a feeling that comes to you as the flame catches. Maybe it's a brief pause to appreciate the day's work, to take a step back and marvel at the process of creation. Maybe it's simply a moment of quiet connection, where you sit in the calm presence of the light and let the world slip away. As the candle flickers in the soft breeze, you realize that this ritual, though simple, is part of something much larger. It is part of the quiet rhythm of life, the constant ebb and flow of light and dark. The ritual of lighting a candle, like all rituals, is a way of connecting with the passage of time, with the history of humanity, and with the inner light that resides within all of us. As the candle burns down, you're reminded of the fleeting nature of life. The once tall, proud wick that stood like a sentinel in the night has now shortened, its flame flickering as the wax begins to wane. Each passing moment takes the candle closer to its inevitable end. This process is not just about the extinguishing of light, but rather about the transition from one state of being to another. It's a graceful fading into darkness, not an abrupt end, but a quiet retreat, a letting go that feels almost natural. The idea of the final flame is something that has haunted humanity throughout history. It speaks to the way we think about endings, about death, and about what comes after. In ancient traditions, candles were often used in moments of transition, the flicker of the flame signaling the passage of time, the closing of a chapter, or the final moments of a life. Whether it was in a funeral rite or the lighting of a vigil, the flame represented more than just a source of light. It was a symbol of something beyond, something immortal, something that continues even after the light goes out. As the wick continues to burn lower, you can't help but think of all the times throughout history that the final flame has been a significant marker. In ancient Egypt, when a person died, oil lamps were placed by the body to guide the spirit into the afterlife. These lamps, though they burned for only a short time, were believed to provide light and warmth to the soul as it made its way to the next realm. The Egyptians believed that light, as it faded, would provide comfort and protection as the soul transitioned from the physical world to the spiritual one. Similarly, in the Greek and Roman worlds, candles were part of funeral practices. They were placed on altars, lit at grave sites, and used to light the way for those mourning the deceased. The act of lighting a candle in this context was a solemn acknowledgement of the cycle of life, a recognition that even in the face of death, there is light, however fleeting, that serves as a bridge between the living and the dead. But perhaps the most enduring image of the final flame comes from the world of literature and legend. The extinguishing of a flame has often been used as a metaphor for the end of a journey, the close of a story. From the lighted candles of a fairy tale princess's birthday to the last moments of an epic saga, the final flame marks a turning point. It symbolizes not just the end of one life but the beginning of another phase, whether that be a new chapter or the closure of an old one. In a more practical sense, you think of the many times you've lit a candle only to watch it burn down to the very end. It's a moment of quiet reflection, a reminder that all things have their time. The wick curls in on itself, the wax melts away, and the flame flickers weakly before it is extinguished. It's a quiet and humble end. But even in this ending, there is a sense of peace, of finality, and of resolution. The candle has done its job, it has provided light, warmth, and guidance. It has fulfilled its purpose, and now it is time for it to rest. It's not a sad end, it's a natural one. The candle, like all things, has lived out its allotted time, offering what it could while it was burning. In a sense, it's a reminder to cherish the moments of light that we have, to make the most of the time we are given. The candle's final flame is not just the end of a process, but a culmination of everything that has come before. It represents the final moments of light that we should honor and appreciate, just as we honor the light of those who have come before us. As the candle flickers one last time, you think about how this process mirrors so much of life. Life, like the candle, is full of beginnings and endings. There are moments when the light burns brightly, when we feel energized, inspired, and full of purpose. But there are also times when the light dims, when we face challenges, hardships, and darkness. And yet, even as the light fades, there is always the possibility of renewal, of rebirth. Just as the candle's wick can be lit again, so too can we find new purpose, new energy, and new light as we move through the cycles of life. The final flame is a reminder that there is beauty in endings. It is in these moments, when the light is about to go out, that we often find clarity. The quiet, soft glow of the last flicker of a candle offers a peaceful reflection, a time to contemplate the journey that has brought us here. It's a moment to appreciate the life that has been lived, the moments that have passed, and the lessons that have been learned. And so, as you watch the last embers burn out, you find yourself at peace. The candle has done its work, and now it rests. But its light will remain in the memory of those who have been touched by it, just as the memories of loved ones continue to live on long after they are gone. The final flame may be gone, but the warmth it provided lingers in the hearts of those it touched. With a soft sigh, you blow out the remaining flame, watching as the last puff of smoke rises into the still air. It's a quiet ending, and as the room returns to its natural darkness, you are left with a sense of calm and fulfillment. The candle's journey has ended, but yours continues. The lesson, though, remains clear: life is a series of moments, each one fleeting, each one precious, and we must savor the light while we have it. The extinguishing of the final flame is not the end. In a way, it is just the beginning. The candle may have been snuffed out, but its legacy continues to ripple through time, illuminating more than just the space it occupied. The rituals, the symbolism, and the quiet moments it inspired linger far beyond the flicker of its light. These echoes, often unnoticed in the hum of daily life, are what make the humble candle a timeless companion to humankind. In many ways, candles have shaped the course of human history. Long before electricity illuminated homes and streets, candles were the primary source of light. They served as beacons of safety, guiding travelers along dark paths, offering comfort during long nights, and providing the warmth needed to stave off the chill of winter. Before the advent of modern technology, they were central to both private life and public ceremonies, a light in the darkness that became synonymous with hope and continuity. As you think back over the centuries, you realize how much of the world has been illuminated by the simple act of lighting a candle. In the medieval ages, monks would light candles to read in the dark hours of the night, continuing their studies in the quiet of the cloisters. In ancient China, candles were used to honor ancestors during rituals, lighting the way for the spirits of the deceased to return to the living world. Even today, in small corners of the world, candles continue to hold this sacred place in rituals, a physical link between the past and the present. The candle's legacy, however, is not solely confined to its function as a source of light. It has become a symbol, carrying with it meanings and emotions that go beyond the tangible. In many cultures, the lighting of a candle represents a prayer, a wish, or a memory. It is often lit to mark an occasion, whether joyful or somber, and serves as a focal point in our most intimate moments. The act of lighting a candle is, in many ways, an act of intention, a way of acknowledging a moment in time, or a person, or an event, that deserves to be remembered. In the realm of memory, the candle holds an especially important place. The flicker of its flame is a symbol of remembrance, and it is often used to honor those who have passed. Candles are lit in memorial services, on anniversaries, or in times of grief. In these moments, the act of lighting a candle becomes a way of holding on to the memory of a loved one, a gesture that connects the living to the dead, the present to the past. The flame represents the continued presence of the one being honored, a light that will never be fully extinguished. The candle also has a long history in the world of magic and mysticism. In various spiritual traditions, candles are used in rituals and spells, believed to have the power to affect the energy of a space or a person. The flame is seen as a conduit to the divine, a tool for transformation, and a focal point for meditation. The way the flame flickers, dances, or burns down can carry meaning in these traditions, offering insight into the future, the unseen, or the spiritual world. Even in the modern era, candles continue to be used in mindfulness practices, meditation, and relaxation, where their gentle glow offers a moment of peace and reflection. As you reflect on this legacy, you begin to see the subtle ways in which the candle has shaped our lives. It is not just a tool for light, but a silent companion in our most important moments, those quiet pauses between one moment and the next, when we connect with the world around us and with ourselves. It has been there for us in the darkest times, offering a sense of peace and comfort. And in times of joy, it has been there as well, a simple yet profound way of marking our celebrations, our achievements, and our milestones. The legacy of the candle is also found in the many forms it has taken over the years. What began as a simple flame contained in a hollowed-out shell, a wick dipped in animal fat, or a rushlight fashioned from a simple piece of wood has evolved into countless variations. Candles today come in all shapes and sizes, made from a variety of materials from beeswax to soy, from paraffin to palm oil. Some candles burn brightly with vibrant colors, while others are designed to burn slowly, releasing subtle scents into the air. They are made to fit every occasion, every mood, every need. This evolution is a testament to the candle's enduring appeal, its ability to adapt to the changing needs of the world without losing its core essence. Despite the many innovations that have come and gone throughout history, the candle has remained remarkably consistent in its purpose and its impact. It is still, at its heart, a source of light in the dark, a symbol of peace, and a tool for reflection. And it continues to fulfill that purpose in ways both large and small, from the candles on a birthday cake to the candles lit in memory of a loved one who has passed. As the years pass and technology advances, the candle's place in the world may seem less central. We no longer rely on them for everyday light, nor do we need them to warm our homes. Yet, their significance endures. The ritual of lighting a candle remains deeply ingrained in our culture, whether we're lighting a single flame for a moment of reflection, or filling a room with the warm, comforting glow of many. In these moments, the candle is a bridge between past and present, a reminder of the long history that stretches behind us and the future that lies ahead. The candle's legacy, then, is one of connection to the past, to the memories of those who have come before us, and to the rituals that shape our lives. It is a quiet presence in our daily lives, often unnoticed but always there, offering light, warmth, and comfort when we need it most. It is a small, humble object, yet its legacy is vast and enduring, a testament to its power to transcend time, culture, and circumstance. In the quiet of the night, as you reflect on the candle's legacy, you understand that its significance lies not in the light it provides, but in the moments it creates. Each flicker of its flame is a small story, a whisper of the past, a promise of the future. And even when the light fades, the memory of it remains, continuing to cast its soft glow in the hearts and minds of all who have been touched by it.